Hello and welcome to the Comedians OutLuke podcast. I'm Luke Anthony, and for this episode I'm joined by Lorraine Hoodless. Lorraine is at the top of her corporate game in the corporate world, but due to a promotion she decided to take up stand-up comedy, and I'll let her tell you all about why in this episode. What made you turn to comedy? I mean, you come from a successful corporate job.
Yeah.
You know, you're obviously doing very well in like a corporate career. I just wonder what drove you to comedy in the first place.
Good question. So essentially my whole working life has been in sales or sales training. So I used to do a huge amount of face-to-face training where I was standing up essentially and delivering to a room full of people. Now that I've kind of progressed into a higher role, that means I'm doing a huge amount of strategy and not so much presenting. And of course, where am I going to fill that gap? The answer, of course, was comedy. So kind of looking at what I love doing, I knew that I needed to have some sort of performance in my life somehow. So great career progression means that I'm not doing the thing that I love. Therefore, I've turned to comedy to fill that gap.
So when you're doing like sales talks and stuff or seminars for people to grow in sales, I imagine it's slightly different to like a TED talk, because with sales you need to become this personality that people like, and potentially you have to be quite funny when you're delivering those talks. So how similar was like doing like a talk like that or a workshop like that and then actually doing stand-up?
So in terms of transferable skills, I shall call them, from a corporate point of view, huge. I learned so much in the corporate world. So I've been kind of working for a large pharmaceutical company for over 20 years, which is astonishing to me, and essentially stayed with the same one. So that shows you like how committed I am to that role. And as I said, I come from a sales background, which was sometimes presentation, more often than not in a one-to-one environment, talking to people about different products. In the training role, however, I could be delivering presentations to up to 200, 500 people, down to training individuals on specific things. So a huge range of different types of presentation, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And in terms of how that differs, well, clearly you're not swearing. Well, sometimes you're not swearing in a corporate environment. You're in the job. That wouldn't be seen as a very good thing to do. But also, you're not trying to be funny. You're trying to impart knowledge or facilitate people's learning. So it is a bit different from what you're doing in terms of stand-up comedy. But that's been the huge challenge and the interesting part about taking up stand-up.
And has it filled that gap?
Yeah, definitely. And more so because it's allowed me to be creative in terms of writing. So that's something that I really enjoyed doing, coming up with topics, figuring out joke structure, understanding how to make people laugh, basically.
So in the same way that you construct and build like a sales pitch or a workshop or some training, you, for that, I imagine you also deconstruct like the skills around that. So the actual construction, the engineering of stand-up comedy is equally interests you as much as like actually performing it. For sure.
And I think what's really quite interesting is I'm still really new. I've only been going like 6 months. And when I'm listening back or watching back to some of the performances that I've done, I'm now able to go, oh, well, that worked here because, or actually that joke gets a lot of laughs because, and I'm able to understand why a lot more now, and therefore replicate or use the same sort of formula, or, you know, deconstruct that formula and use it in a different way. So that's been good.
When we first got in contact, and we approached each other about this podcast, you told me that this is where your past comes back to haunt you.
Oh dear.
No. When you told me about your job, and on which I initially and instantly assumed that would be a great source of like material. What is the catalyst to your jokes? What where do you get the inspiration to write your jokes or write your set of material?
Always keep a notepad with me, or you've always got your phone out anyway to voice record. Anything really has inspired me to kind of write a joke. My kind of key jokes when I first started were around being an auntie, and some of the conversations that I had with her, which are hilarious. Oh my God, she's just an absolute beautiful little soul, but she asks the most awkward questions. Like
your niece, is it?
Yeah, where's my baby? Why aren't you married? These kind of things.
Oh, okay.
So that, she's flipping goldmine. So, other things that I've been writing about lately have been around the environment. A little bit about politics, but not a light touch, not too heavy.
I try to avoid politics myself on stage.
But it's so funny.
It is really funny. I like to laugh at it, I think.
Yeah.
It is really funny. It's so funny that they've got this, it's like they're back at school. And it's like they're playing tit for tat at school. They were playing like Kiss Chase or You're It or something.
It's ridiculous at the minute. It really is. I struggle with doing content or bits on politics purely, but not. I don't struggle. I could. I just don't do them because I think it's funny anyway. Like, do you know what I mean? Like the joke is already done in a sense because people like Jacob Rees-Mogg like potentially running the country. Like, it's an absolute laugh. And how that guy could possibly be... I really don't want the country to be run by a dementor. I don't think that's going to be good.
His sisters...
For anybody.
I'm going against all my morals. I'm talking about politics on the podcast. But I only do that on a different podcast. But we can bring the two together. His sister's just... Is it a sister? I think he's just joined Nigel Farage, isn't he?
That's right. I read about that. It's hilarious. I think in terms of writing about politics, I think the most difficult thing must be for a solely political comedian to write jokes that have got longevity in them, because the news, the politics is
changes
just moving so fast.
Except Brexit.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the intricacies of Brexit are moving so fast. I mean, I've not really kept up with it this week because I can't be arsed. I'm so freaking sick. And most people are kind of sick of it now, but yeah, I've kind of stopped reading articles this week because it was just upsetting me. It was just annoying me. But it's kind of like, EastEnders. You could pick up an episode of that and you still know what all the characters are like. And you could predict what they're going to do next.
Yeah.
So,
or the cliffhanger will be at the end of it. Yeah,
exactly. So yeah, you can dip in and out of it. But yeah, hats off to political comedians out there. I think it's a wonderful topic and I love to laugh at it, and please keep on doing what you're doing. As I say, I only would do a terribly light touch on throwaway comment here or there on politics, but I don't like to get too deep into it. What other stuff I've been writing about? I had a job interview last week. I wrote about that, which was hilarious. I thought it was hilarious.
Hence writing it.
Yeah.
It has to start with you yourself.
Yeah,
exactly. Do you ever get a moment where you're did you come out of that interview and just laugh at yourself and you're like, oh, bloody hell.
Yeah,
right.
I particularly
laughed.
That's
10 minutes.
Yeah. I laughed at the fact that I don't want to give away my material for free, you know what I mean? But I was laughing at some of the phrases that I came out with. So... Like
buzzwords sort of thing, or...
Not so much buzzwords, but oh my God, if I was hovering over myself, I'd be spewing on top of my head. It was so cringeworthy, but good, and they loved me. So I'm hoping that I get another interview. We'll see.
Maybe that's the way to such jobs, though.
Yeah, we'll see. We will see what happens. I was busy saying, I've been with the same company for 20 years, and it's family. But the level I'm at, there's less opportunities, and I'm looking for a new family is what I said, and I was like, oh my God, new family with a 20 grand pay rise and flexible benefits. That's what I'm looking for. The very definition of a family, right? So Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but imagine if you got like your kids to a certain point. Like I don't have kids, and you don't have kids yet.
No kids.
If you get kids to like a certain age, or you get them to like 15, I want a new family.
Yeah, totally.
I'm now 50. I want a new wife.
Yeah.
I want some new kids.
Well, people do that. Come on.
Yeah.
People do that anyway. So, that's societally normal now. So
it is. Yeah. Yeah, they're even making like divorce proceedings a lot easier now, and that you don't need extraordinary circumstances to get out of a marriage now. Which, like divorce.
I did read about that. I don't think it'll make a difference.
No, I mean it's already bad anyway. Like with people getting shotgun weddings and then breaking up in 2 years and getting a divorce.
But I don't know. Like, I don't know. I've never been married, so I can't really comment that well. But I think it's tricky. I think the best thing you can do is get to know your partner so well that there's no bloody surprises.
So yeah, I mean, make your relationship so mundane and predictable that you're safe.
No, not mundane and predictable. Just no skeletons. I think
no
that's
skeletons. Yeah,
no skeletons.
You read these horror stories, don't you, where people like. I've been dating a spook for like 20 years. They didn't even know.
That's horrible.
They've had children. They've been through. Yeah, and then you find out that actually they've got another wife in another country. And
that's awful. I've got to sneeze. Whoa, that'll sound good on the podcast.
That's
Excuse
fine.
me. One more.
Just for the listeners' benefit, she sneezed all over my table.
I did not. The snotter's on the couch. It's fine. Yeah, what were we saying there?
We're talking about. I don't know if we want to go back to it. To be honest,
fair dues.
Let's use that sneeze as a nice segue into another topic. I, like many other comedians, had growing up had a very different perspective on life. Like you just naturally I've said this on the podcast before. I suffered from bipolar from the age of 15, and ever since that point, my outlook on life was very different to those at school. I always felt a little bit older than my age at the time, or I was just a bit weird because I might have been going for an episode or something, and which resulted in occasional bullying. And I just wondered, a lot of the comedians have a similar sort of story to myself. I just wondered what your childhood was like.
Normal, fabulous, loving,
absolutely, yeah,
caring.
Yeah, well, fuck you then.
I know, I'm the worst person ever doing comedy, aren't I?
And not only did you have an amazing childhood, you got a fucking good job, and now you want to become a comedian.
I know, what a bitch. What can I say? No, I have a wonderful family, big, loving, caring. My sister lives in Australia. She's got 2 beautiful kids and a husband over there who I'm going to see on Wednesday. I cannot wait. I'm so excited.
Back home in Scotland?
No, in Australia.
Oh,
yeah, in Melbourne. Not just so that I can mind my little niece and nephew. She's got another little boy now.
And give them back at the end of the week.
Yeah, not so that I can mind them for material. I'm genuinely looking forward to seeing their smiling little faces. But
Are you married yet, Auntie?
Yeah, well, she did say that the other day, hilarious. So I was like, here's say hello to Stephen, and she's like, when are you getting married? And I was like classic shutdown. I was like, well, if we get married, you'll have to wear a dress, Alice. No, I won't. I was like, well, you do. You'd have to wear a dress. And she doesn't like wearing dresses. Her mum puts her in long T-shirts. Is what she calls them. But yeah, so that shut her up. So that's fine. She might not ask
you
that.
bought yourself a bit more time.
Yeah, she might not ask that question. It's a bit soon anyway. But I think she just wants me to hit all the milestones. She's 4, but she still knows what the milestones are, the societal norms. But I've been really lucky. Jesus, things happen. My dad had cancer a couple of years back, prostate cancer. Thankfully, they cut the fucker out, and
not him, the prostate cancer.
No, my dad is very much still with us, and I'm so happy about that. But that
you have to be careful with that one. That could be easily.
Bless him. But it's it was really hard, difficult thing to go through for him, and it did have a huge knock-on effect. And I guess that's one of the reasons why I decided to get into comedy really was because I was like, had a look around, hit 40 last year, was like, holy fuck, what am I doing with my life? Nothing. I've not changed in the last 10 years. What are my passions? What am I doing? What do I want to do? And the answer to that was, I do want to perform in some way, and comedy is something that I've always enjoyed. Yeah, so cheers, Pops. Give him a big kick up the arse, getting your cancer, and yeah. But yeah, he's doing okay now, but yeah, it's a hard thing to deal with. He's lost a fair bit of confidence just about getting back on his feet. So,
do you do any content about your family at all?
A little bit. So, a little bit. Not huge amounts, but they do get a passing mention. So some of the stuff that I talk about are things that people have said, and then the kind of chain reaction of thoughts that come to me after that.
Yeah. So like family get-togethers, maybe at like Christmas time or something, people have come up with some dynamite, like off-the-cuff comments, and you create something out of that. Yeah,
so usually I get a bit of a roasting for not having a partner, not having a... not hitting the milestones, as I said, like my little niece kind of.
So it's a wonder that you haven't had this epiphany earlier, because if they've been bothering you for like the last 5 years with the same thing, and it took your dad to have prostate cancer to question your life and where it's going.
I think.
You didn't take the hint like 5 years ago in the one you up at other Christmas parties.
About 5 years ago, I was in another relationship, and that wasn't the one. Let's say, and nice chap, just didn't work out. So but I guess after that finished, then you get the whole just kind of heal, put yourself back together. And get on with things. And I just got on with things and coasted for a bit too long. That's all.
Okay. And they wound you up for coasting?
No, just genuine want to see me happy with someone.
Okay.
Genuine, not winding me up, just genuinely care, which is nice. As I said, fucking well-balanced family. Yeah. Where's the comedy in that?
I'm sure there is some.
Yeah.
I'm sure there is some.
There sure is.
Because then there is balance. There is comedy in that, because, like stereotypes, like a sort of middle class outlook on life is quite funny.
Oh, you're assuming I come from a middle class family.
I don't. Well, you created a middle class life.
Yeah.
And with your, I mean, that's interesting. Like, so you get to like you're 40, you get to fourth floor. Mm-hmm. As they say, and you got to the top of your game in terms of your career. Mm-hmm. How much ambition was left after that? Like, did you? Because you said you got to the point where you're like a little bit kind of like feeling a bit lousy about stuff. Like you thought you got stuck in a rut almost at this. You're just like existing.
I think career-wise, I kind of just hit a bit of a bald patch. Just kind of like. Just coasting and not getting a tremendous amount out of it.
Career Appalachia sort of thing.
Yeah, just like getting on with it, doing it day in, day out. Great bunch of people that I work with, huge laugh at work. Yeah. So really nice environment to work in. But then kind of giving myself a wee bit of a kick in the nuts to get on with things. So I took a nice secondment, which means that I can work from home. Yeah. Working in a global role, which is awesome. But that's about to come to an end. So I'm looking for a new job. As I said, some of the material coming out of the interview process for other things. So that's a bit kind of, oh shit. I might have to go back into a job that I think I've probably stayed too long in, and dare I say it, outgrown a little, which is a bit disappointing. But yeah, I've just stayed too long because the people were lovely, and they will remain lifelong friends. So I'm very lucky in that respect. Okay. So yeah,
they don't listen to this podcast, do they? You haven't told them you're leaving yet, have you?
No.
No, so just don't tell them to listen to this podcast.
I'm not leaving. That's the thing. I don't know what's happening. So I'll go away to Australia for 2.5 weeks and come back, and I might have a job, I might not. So we'll see. We'll see. Nothing I can do.
I'll send a CD to your workplace.
Yeah. Don't, please don't.
I'm sure, like myself, like you're delighted that now there's so many opportunities for women in comedy. Like there's so many opportunities out there. I just wondered how much further do you think the industry needs to go to make it completely equal? Because, and I'm just going to add a bit onto that, because what you're seeing are all women bills now, where they're only taking women, or a gig has got like 4 men and now they're stopping any applications for men and they're just taking on women now to create a balance thing. I mean, what do you think? How much further do you think it needs to go?
So let me unpick that. There's quite a lot there. In terms of, so there's, first things first, positive discrimination I don't believe is the best way to redress the balance. I think the best way to redress the balance is grassroots stuff. So how are people being encouraged to get into comedy? So there's things like Funny Women, they do podcast articles, etc. And a really kind of positive women-only environment where women can be nurtured into a kind of comedy, either performing, writing, etc. And that's great, a great support. Is there anything wrong with all female bills? No. It's been all male bills for a long time in a lot of places. Is it right that there's positive discrimination with regards to women? I'm fucking loving it, mate. I'm not going to lie. I'll take a gig, you know what I mean? But is it right? Not necessarily. Do I believe that meritocracy is where we should be at? Yeah. But it's a long fucking way, mate, until we get to people being booked based on their meritocracy. Based on meritocracy even. That's the way it should work. That's the way it should be. But sad to say, women have been overlooked, and it's discouraged with female talent. You know, you could say the same for different races. You could say the same for people who are from other countries as well. Like, you know, are their unique voices being heard enough? Maybe yes, maybe not. But it's a bloody tricky line that promoters kind of walk down in terms of trying to balance a bill. And you know, I do see things that say women only, or people from LGBTQ community only, and you know, they're trying to make their bill appeal to the widest audience possible, so that they can fill the seats. So I get that. I get that as well. It's a hard job promoting gigs, as it is, and people just are not going out as much either. So the clubs are not. It's not easy to run a club, you know, at any level. I think.
And that's interesting, because you hope that you get to a point with comedy that it doesn't matter whether. Okay, so this week there is an all-male bill. That's just because they were the ones that we saw or we booked this week. Next week there could be 6 women and 1 man. Yeah. Right? You shouldn't... I think you're right in the sense that that there should be like this positive discrimination there in a sense, because it does give opportunities that aren't there otherwise. Because if you don't have women-only bills at the moment, if you use things like open comedy or even the comedy collectives, most of the time, if you scroll down like comments, I mean, I do a bit of promotion for my comedy gig, and when you scroll down the comments when you post an opportunity, you get a 99% male response, right? So if your only options in that case are male people, because that's what they're that there are more male comedians on open comedy, for example. Then you're picking from
a lower
so that there are just naturally in those all places less women doing comedy, and the reason that is because there still isn't that equal opportunity there, right? So you need this positive, like you say, this positive discrimination there at the moment for women only builders, because if you don't put women only into these posts, you're going to get mostly males applying. So And I spoke to Agnes about the same thing in Uganda, and she said in Uganda the only difference between a male comedian and a female comedian in that sense is that the lack of belief in themselves. They say so when they've for example when they've and this was backed up by Shapi Khorsandi as well, who is an Iranian comedian in the UK, very very good comedian, and they say that when a man fails, for example, this is directly quoted from what they've said. When a man fails, they'll get back and angry and they'll want to fight for it, and they'll get back and do it. Whereas if you're told you're not very good, sometimes if you go to a gig and you're lucky enough to get a gig as a female on an all-male bill, and then you don't do well and you get bad comments and you're discouraged from doing it because someone blames it on you being a female comic, or if the people just didn't get you, then we need to be better as a collective at giving that confidence to people to stand up and take those opportunities. And
so I agree in some respects, and there has been studies done, you're right, around and it's more not in stand-up comedy but more in a corporate environment whereby women are seen to take less chances and take less of a punt on something that might be outside of their comfort zone. And why is that? I don't think the study went into that detail, and forgive me, I don't have the study details, but it's grassroots. It's actually, what are you told as a child? What are you told as a kid growing up? What is the societal norms, and what does being a woman mean, or being a girl mean? And it does push my buttons, and like I joked earlier about Alice not wanting to wear a dress. Fuck it, you don't have to wear a dress, love. No. And you don't have to wear a long t-shirt either. You can wear whatever you want. You can love whoever you want. You can be whoever you want. So long as you're not hurting anybody else, and so long as you're happy and you're doing the best that you can be as a human being. And I don't care what where you come from, what your kind of beliefs are, whether it's religion or whatever, what gender you are or identify with. It's about being a nice person and trying to hold values that are true. And it does get my goat that we are stereotyped. And, you know, I have to call you out. You kind of, and those studies out as well around women are more like this. Are they conditioned to be like that? It's not bloody genetic, that's for sure. No. And I do get if I have a bad gig, or if I think, oh, that was bloody awful, that was, or if I'm trying out some new material, and that's been a huge thing that I've had to learn how to kind of step down and do new material. So it's not going to be good the first time you do it, but it can be okay, and you can pick the laughs out. So it's going from old gold, hitting it out the park, really getting a great reaction, to going, right, find the gigs that I can confidently be amongst friends, where I'm not going to be judged too harshly, get out the new stuff, look at your notes, write stuff in your hands and not be judged too harshly. But I guess my point is, not all women are going to be put off by that, but some women might be, and some people might be put off that environment. And certainly I've been in some environments where I've thought, oh, that was a bit shitty, that was. And just thought, oh, it's a bit annoying. But I guess I'm old enough, I'm ugly enough to kind of just go, right, let's get on with this. I know what I want to do. Let's just get on with it.
It's very brave for me to even talk about this topic as a man, because naturally, I'll always come from a biased point of view, because I go
you don't have a voice anymore. White, male, straight, fucking shut up. No, I mean, that's essentially what
they said. That's what was
the premise, or not the premise, but that's kind of...
That was the attitude towards women for many, many years in comedy. was that sit down and shut up.
Women aren't funny. I've heard that so many times. Okay, that's fine. Okay, don't come to my gigs then.
I just think it's brave for people to even have the confidence to say that now, because I honestly, maybe I'm so naive, but I honestly believe that as a society and a community, and even as a world, that eventually we'll fall on the right side.
I don't know. I don't know what has to change. I really don't know what has to change to kind of break.
But like I say, it starts grassroots, because when kids say, "Oh, I can't wear that because it's pink," because that's what girls wear.
Yeah.
And they're like 4-year-olds saying that, then that just shows you how early we need to start changing people's mentalities. Yeah. And I think it's already changing. But I just you still watch it, like The Secret Life of the Kids. I don't know what program it is. There's one of those you see them and kids are still like that. Kids still think that I can't kiss her, she's a girl, you know, and that's really early on.
I mean, I don't know. It's
what
weird.
Is that? Cartoons? Watching your parents? What is that? Why?
It's everything kids are exposed to.
Yeah.
Points to differences in expectations, societal norms. How does a 3-year-old know that I should have a baby? Or think that I should have a baby? How does a 4-year-old? Because
they watched a Disney film.
Maybe. It might be because she's got dollies.
Dollies, yeah.
Right?
There's a male dolly and a girl dolly, and they've got a baby.
Dolly. She's got a boy dolly, she's got a girl dolly. She knows that there's a penis on the boy dolly and there's not on the... So she knows that there's basic anatomical differences. Actually, I don't even know if there is a penis. I'll check when I'm over in Oz. Get back to you on that.
Cheers, yes. We'll do another podcast all about that.
Yeah, that's it. But, I don't know. Look, there's been so much... what's changed? What's changing now? The Me Too movement.
It's amazing. Amazing movement.
Yeah. And, do you know, I would very much doubt if there's any woman out there that hasn't had a Me Too moment.
Yeah.
I've had
a fair
few, yeah.
It really scares me, the scale of it. And that, like... Do you know the feeling I got once after this whole Me Too thing, and I heard so many different views from women about it. I was walking down the street and I was looking at women, like just generally walking through, and I just listened.
Creepy.
Yeah, me too. No, I just walking down the street, and the thing that hit me was that within that space, probably 99% of those women have had a Me Too experience, and that freaked me out because it really disgusted me. Actually, it made me feel physically sick. Yeah. That there are men out there that are treating women like that, because it is disgusting, and they should be castrated and sent off this earth, because there's no space for it. There's no space for it in this world, and like I say, going back to what I said, I hope as a society we fall on the right side eventually, because I think we're starting that. We just got a long way to go.
We've been starting it forever. No, I mean, that's what true. It feels like. You know, do I believe that my niece and nephew will grow up in a world where gender, LGBTQ, race, ethnicity, colour, that will no longer be a problem? No, I fucking don't. I don't, because I think there's so much hatred and bigotry and fucking stupidity out there.
Mostly stupidity, isn't it?
And ignorance about the fact that we're all just bleeding inside. We're blood, we're flesh, and we're bone, and we're people. And no matter what you get up to, how you live your life, where you live, what have you, we're all just trying to get by it. And I don't know, it boils, it rips my knitting. There's a lovely Scottish phrase for you. That people just can't see past. It's tribal instincts, I guess, and it's shit. It's just awful. We're all the same. is now the time to tell you that I've got an Edinburgh show coming up.
Yeah, so have you been to Edinburgh before?
I have. I've been there. So I used to grew up just outside Edinburgh, so we'd go for the odd day trip now and again. But last year I threw myself into it and I went there for 10 days, so over 30 shows, helped out in a couple of shows as well, and just consumed as much comedy as I possibly could. And
so
that
more
was
of a spectator than a performer?
Huge spectator only.
Okay.
I didn't perform at all, so I just started in earnest. I'd done a couple of gigs literally before September. Started in earnest in September, and now I've done about 82. So I've been gigging hard, is what I would say. And yeah, I loved it. Just absolutely loved seeing. Everything that I saw was amazing, apart from a couple. I'll not mention them. But yeah,
you'll
really
know who you
enjoyed it. No, they won't. They wouldn't have noticed me being there. But yeah, myself and another comedian, Rachel O'Connor, are going to do a double-hander, and we'll be at the Kilderkin. Or Kilderkin, don't know how you pronounce it. And
that's in Scotland?
What
chance do we have?
At the Edinburgh Festival, yes. And that is from the 3rd to the 24th of August.
And how long is that? How long is the show?
It's an hour show, and it's on from 8:45 to 9:45. And apparently the pizzas are awesome. So
go and have some pizza and watch some comedy.
Yeah, So our show is called Actually Totes Amaze. And
it's
really
pretty down
down with the kids. Trying to pretend that I'm younger.
Midlife crisis.
Oh fuck it, I've had that. That was a couple of years back. But yeah, it's going to be a really great show, and we're going to talk about what it is to be a woman in this day and age, and just what's going on in our lives, really.
Yeah. Is that a one-person show?
Two people, okay. Two-hander. And yeah, we've actually got some pretty cool tote bags that we're going to be giving away to.
We've got some merch as well.
We got merch, yeah. To the best audience members. So come and giggle your head off, and you could be walking away with a wonderful tote bag. So there you have it.
What's okay? So I don't want to give too much away about the gig because people still need a reason to go and see it. But what's the premise behind the show?
So the premise being that technically we might still be termed snowflakes, age-wise.
Okay. Oh, really?
Technically, but really? I don't know. There's lots of different definitions.
Like the millennial thing. Like, who are they?
I don't know. Anyway, so we're kind of in a bit of two camps. So
yeah,
my generation we were pre-Facebook, pre-social media, and now we've got all of that. It's like, how do you kind of adapt to that?
But you've used from 20 years ago.
Yeah, so probably 20 years, but we know what it's like not to have social media as well. To grow up where your mistakes and what have you are hidden from social media. So
except from Mavis down the road.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, so it's that kind of, we're driven by a very aesthetic society with Instagram, etc. Actually, how do you adapt to that? Growing older, what do you show of yourself? What is it that people see? Yeah,
because you still have the values of privacy.
Yeah.
Because although my dad always tells me of how he could go and misbehave 3 or 4 miles away, and then by the time he's got home, he's in trouble and grounded because the message got down the community very quick. So that's the premise. You're trying to get across what it's like for someone in their early 40s who's pre-technology, or say pre-technology, pre-social media, and now very much a part of it, because now you need to use social media to promote everything you do. What are your thoughts on that? Because I really hate the fact that I have to use social media for promotion. If I could go around flyering, I would.
Yeah, I like speaking to people, so I'll do a lot of that when I'm up at the festival.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just the way of the world, right? You know what I mean? I find out about stuff via Facebook.
Yeah.
I don't use Instagram as much.
I didn't use it. I've set it up a couple of times and then deleted it.
Yeah,
So
I've got Twitter,
Twitter,
and I sometimes post on that. But we'll be doing a lot of kind of Twitter stuff in the run up to the festival, posing some esoteric questions online for people to get involved in promoting the show, etc. But yeah, it's another means of communication, and that can't be all bad.
Yeah,
that can't be all bad. So yeah. A lot of people, from what I've heard anyway, a lot of people will kind of go up, get guest spots on different shows for the first year, and then the second year go to their do a triple or a double hander, and then for the third year or fourth year, then take a solo show up there. That seems to be the kind of pathway for doing something there. But there's all different ways of doing it. I guess it doesn't matter. One shoe doesn't fit all. So, and I guess I'm kind of going in with a double hander, whereas I should have maybe done a triple hander. But hey ho, whatever. It's a challenge.
If you don't like it, fuck off.
Not so much. I am concerned that people do like it, and there'll be a lot of people from Scotland that I grew up with, or
really go and see,
family and that will come and support, and they've already said that they're going to come and support. So I want to make it good for them. I want them to come. I want them to be proud of me. I want to be proud of it as well.
You're putting a lot of pressure on yourself for your first time in Edinburgh.
Fuck it doesn't matter if I fail though. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. And I think that's, for me,
makes it a lot easier if you have that mentality on it.
Yeah, comedy is still fun. And I think the minute it doesn't become fun, I don't think I'll be able to do it anymore.
Right.
Because, and the pressure, even, if the pressure is there because it's going to drive you forward, then that can be fun.
Yeah.
But if the pressure becomes too much, then I think that's going to tip over into the not fun.
So aside from the Edinburgh show, what do you hope to get out of the next year?
I want to build up my set, build up from where I'm at, which is probably about 10 minutes. I've got about 10 minutes solid stuff. I need to get that up to show level performance, and get that up to the length of time that I need to fill, which will be roughly 25 minutes. I'm embarking on the first level of improvisation via the Free Association, which I'm really looking forward to, and again for fun, just to learn and to be involved, another string to the bow, being creative, etc. So I'm going to try and I've signed up to that. That's going to be 8 weeks. Trying to expand my skill set, my toolbox, before I go to Edinburgh. So yeah, a lot going on.
4 months. Just under about 3.5 months now. Yeah.
So if I write 5 minutes a week, I should be fine. And then I can cut out the shite.
Just get yourself on some previews if you can, if you can get, I don't know, it may be in the form of like a headline slot or an opening slot. 25 minutes, that would be a good way of testing your material out.
For sure.
Because there's writing it, and then because I've written hours of material, but some of it I've never performed. I may never perform.
Yeah.
But actually building 5 minutes and then trying to get that into like 25 minutes is quite hard without actually doing a full.
Writing is not the physical art.
No.
Writing is performing.
Yeah.
And then cutting, and then cutting, and then cutting. Yeah. And changing about and reordering and restructuring, and that's writing. Yeah. And that's the bit that's hard, I think.
Hard, but also fun. I quite like you say, the challenge. I mean, you get it in your day job. That, and I'm sure that's sort of part of the reason you've done so well at your day job, because it's the challenge, it's the hustle, it's the struggle, it's the not knowing sort of, or knowing that I'm not good enough and needing to be better. That sort of drives you to do it anyway. So in some ways I really hope that your comedy career doesn't skyrocket, because I think that if it became like a chore, you needed to do it, you had to do it, that suddenly you'd be doing your day job as your hobby, and then struggling through trying to make, because the fun part of the thing is that it's completely and utterly on your terms. You don't have to worry about like saying something wrong that's going to end your career.
Yeah.
You're just doing it because you have a microphone and you can.
I'm doing it because I have a passion for it, and I have a passion for communication.
Yeah.
And I want to get better at it, and I enjoy it. We'll see. Like I don't have like, I'm not like, oh, get me on the telly, or oh, blah 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 blah. But equally, whatever comes of this passion, then whatever comes,
you're open,
and I will take opportunities and see where it leads.
I just hope it stays fun for you. That's all.
It will.
Fun.
It will.
You'll find somewhere or another.
I find the fun wherever I go. So yeah, for sure. I think the Edinburgh thing, getting ready for that and getting organised for that. I think the most challenging bit has been to get the pair of us in the same place at the same time. Two busy women trying to do the day job and also gig. And that's been the most challenging bit. But as soon as we get together, we make decisions, it moves things forward streets. So I think that's been the most challenging thing about applying for the festival. Because it is quite a bit of work. It's quite a bit of work.
Yeah, and it gets daunting as you get closer to it. I mean, I haven't taken a show to Edinburgh yet, and I will eventually. But I don't feel the need to. Yeah, like I know I'm probably ready to do it. I just don't need to.
Yeah.
I know that the idea that some people would go there thinking that they used to in the 90s, we would go there, and then by the end of the Edinburgh, they could have a TV show or have a spot on a sketch show or something, or a panel show. That used to be the way that you got such opportunities. But now, anyone who goes up there believing that they're going to come out of Edinburgh with money, first and foremost, or a name, I worry for them, because it does hemorrhage cash. Even the free fringe hemorrhages time and cash, because you have to stay somewhere and
accommodation is the absolute fucking joke. I'm not gonna lie, and I've not got that sorted yet, but anyway, that's one little pressure I need to figure out before I go on holidays. But
camp somewhere. Have you got a car? Camp.
Fuck camping. Are you nuts? Look at me.
In Edinburgh as well.
I'll strike you as a woman who camps for a month at a time in Scotland. Fuck camping.
Loads of material in that.
For a month. I don't mind. I do like camping, but not for a month, and not outside Edinburgh. Thanks very much.
Not in Scotland.
No thanks. Scottish camping is wonderful, wild, beautiful place to visit.
Again, any campsites, if you like, sponsoring a podcast, say great things about camping. And yes, if you sponsor the podcast, I'll absolutely recommend you to camp, someone to camp for a month for Edinburgh.
Yeah, not me.
But only if you give me a lot of money.
And but yeah, no, that's a big pressure to get the accommodation sorted, and it's really expensive. But for me, honestly,
again, it's for the love, isn't it? It's for the enjoyment, for the buzz.
It's the excitement. It's actually the challenge of writing 25 minutes, of making that material absolute stellar, of performing it, of like bringing that energy day in, day out.
Yeah. Of
creating a bit of a buzz, letting people that have seen me kind of try stuff out, or I've been saying, oh, I'd love to come and see you, actually saying, well, come, you're I'm in Edinburgh, it's not far, come down and see me. And it's always been a lifelong ambition to go to the Fringe for me, so I didn't know how, I didn't know what doing, but I've got that opportunity, and I'm going to make the most of it. Yeah, absolutely, going to make the most of that. One comedian that I'm often on bills with said to me, I'm going to treat Edinburgh like it's comedy boot camp, and I'm sure that's been said before, and I think it's a great way of looking at it. So 20, 25 minutes, 30 minutes of getting to do your material for 23, 24 performances, amazing.
Yeah, on back to back as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And by the end of it, if you don't learn something from it, then
you're nuts.
Yeah.
You've got to take something from it. Yeah. And I think the other thing that I'm really quite concerned about is getting match fit. Not just the material, like having the stamina to like put in the energy. So I'm like working on getting fit, getting like healthy, exercise, etc., so I don't get ill, like taking care of myself before I get to Edinburgh as well, because I think that's a huge
it does
deal.
take its toll. I mean, one of the comedians I spoke to, Paul Richards, he was up there, and he had shingles throughout the whole month.
That's awful.
But he did every single show.
Jeez,
and got through it and everything. And quite hat off to him, because he's one of those people that is just a workhorse. He would just do it, and he's an incredible comedian, incredible musician and stuff. But I mean, it is tough. It's tough. I mean, but it's a good insight for any new comic into what the lifestyle of being a touring comic would be like anyway. Because you just look at their schedules; they fill up a month every month. Yeah. And they're travelling up and down the country, different countries.
Exactly.
And so if you can do, or if you can't do Edinburgh, then maybe reconsider. Yeah. But yeah. Not saying you personally, I just mean this is all very well doing 5 minutes a night every week, but doing 25 minutes on a big show for 23 days is an undertaking.
Yeah, thanks for that. No, I am looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. And some of the things that we've been doing, so like getting the photos right, even for the programme, and doing the blurb and things like that has been great. It's been really interesting, really fun. And like we are designing some little tote bags and stuff. So a huge amount of different skills being used and kind of throwing this...
if you don't sell them, I'm so going to be looking on eBay to see how many having to try and flog for a discount price.
Yeah, after the event. Yeah. Well, it's a limited number only. I've only got 200 of them.
I met a few famous comedians. They signed these tote bags.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, we will have 200 only at the moment, limited edition. And they'll be fabulous, yes. We're giving them away to the best audience members. So to a show we'll be giving away for reasons yet to be disclosed. So
you will be able to get rid of them then. You'll be able to flog them quite easy if you're giving them away.
Yeah, we're not going to flog them. We're going to give them away to special people.
But I'll still look at eBay to see how many people have whacked them up on eBay after the Edinburgh
afterwards,
Fringe.
See.
Yeah, so after the Edinburgh Fringe sort of vibe is gone.
Yeah, I guess that depends how good we are. So we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
And what value they are, because you'd be thinking, I could have sold them for this and made
10 pence.
Yeah,
10 pence. Never mind.
They're not plastic, are they?
No.
You're 6 months in. It's a very, very new in comedy, but you've written you're writing your Edinburgh show. You're taking that this year. Is there any specific advice that you'd give to a comic that just is on the fence about starting and wants to do it, but is afraid, like all of us were at one point? What's the sort of advice you'd give to someone like just starting out in comedy?
It's the same advice that I was given when I was starting out, which is just do it. Just book gigs and commit to doing them and do them. Don't back out, because that fucks off promoters quite rightly. Yeah. Just get up and do it, even if it's shit. And people talk about dying on stage. Nobody actually dies. I mean, nothing bad happens if you're standing in a room full of 8 strangers and you're saying stuff out loud. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't matter, and it's okay. And once you've done it a few times, it does get easier. Write stuff everywhere. take down notes. Don't think that you'll remember stuff, because you won't remember stuff.
That's true
You will
enough.
forget. I've woken up with fully formed jokes and thought, oh, I'll go for a shower and then I'll write that down. Nope, gone. Raging, absolutely raging at myself. And it, clearly
Gotta buy
it was,
bread. Oh, shit. Joke's gone.
Clearly it was the answer to all world's problems and stuff, and it's just flown out of my head.
Lo and behold, it's fucked off.
Gone away. So yeah, just write down whatever you can, and listen to yourself, watch yourself as much as it pains you to do it, record yourself all the time and listen back. Another great bit of advice someone gave me was to sit with your recording, be it vocal or video, and look at what you wrote and see how it matches up. So that was a great bit of advice the promoter gave me. See how it matches up, add in stuff that you like, take out stuff that didn't work, and just continually cut and paste and just keep on going. But what the fuck do I know? I'm just starting out and I don't know my arse from my elbow, and all I know is it's super fun and I've met some amazing people, and it's given me a wonderful new lease of life. So midlife crises can be good. So yeah.
And on that bombshell, thank you so much for joining me, Lorraine.
No problem. Thank you very much for having me.
Well, we really touched on some hot topics in that conversation. If you have any thoughts or feelings about what we spoke about in that episode, then please feel free to get in touch. You can do that by emailing me on tcopodcast@lukeanthonycomedy.co.uk, also on Twitter or Facebook at Luke A Comedian. Also, please rate, review and subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to it. Plus, if you have a couple of quid spare, you can also donate to the podcast at lukeanthonycomedy.co.uk/TCO podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Please join me again next week for another brilliant episode, and I'll see you soon.